Greetings. How you doing? I'm Jim Prues. There was a lot of hubbub last week when North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un canceled a long-standing treaty with South Korea and has defied UN sanctions with its nuclear program. So, what we have to do immediately is overreact, threaten, add on some more sanctions, and generally mess with them, right? Anyone paying attention knows Kim Jong-un likes attention. He may have nuclear capacity at this point, but he certainly doesn't have the missile technology to attack the U.S. Pundits and legislators are calling for, I don't know, drastic action or something. This is simply tragic. The people of North Korea have struggled with hunger for a generation or more, and the U.S. hasn't done a thing diplomatically to alleviate their plight. Of course, neither has the Kim Jong family. But somehow the U.S. only gets concerned when there's a chance for war. Delicious, lucrative war. It's disgusting and it's ludicrous. Our government knows whatever it wants. The technology it has at its fingertips is mind-boggling. It knows what North Korea is about, in spite of whatever secrecy North Korea would like to imagine it has. Like our government doesn't monitor his phone calls. This seems like a clear case where there are no good guys. Why not look toward a unified Korea, where goodwill and compromise herald a new age for that troubled peninsula? Why not engage instead of bully? What might be created there without the assumptions and influence of empire? I don't know, but I'd surely like to find out. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher died over the weekend, but unfortunately the principles and policies she enabled are still with us. The British Iron Lady established many of the bullshit policies that enabled greater disparity between the haves and the have-nots, busting unions and furthering the elitist agenda. I prefer women who are not as hard as stone and cold as steel. Syrian rebels, who have been fighting for nearly 2 years to oust President Bashar al-Assad, have pushed into areas surrounding the heart of the capital and have increased mortar rounds and car bomb attacks in government-held Damascus. Again, we have a case where, due to the full of shit media in this country, we have no idea of good guys versus bad guys. And, like with Korea, I'm sure we're talking shades of gray. Remember investigative journalism? The idea of tracking down leads, doing research, and finding the truth? Corporate media left that shit behind a long time ago. World 5, however, is all about investigative journalism. We want truth, even if it hurts. How can we ground ourselves here in reality if we participate in a bunch of bullshit? And by the way, that's today's Jeopardy question. The Senate on Monday confirmed Mary Jo White as head of the Security and Exchange Commission, dismissing concern about her close ties to the Wall Street banks she will now oversee. Ms. White, a former federal prosecutor who spent the last decade defending J.P. Morgan Chase and other big banks, secured Senate approval by nearly unanimous consent, Ohio's Sherrod Brown being the only no vote. Really? This bogus Senate without the guts to take on filibuster reform or arms control? Unanimous consent? Cincinnati's plan to privatize parking lots got a big kick in the pants last week when local Judge Robert Winkler issued a restraining order saying we citizens have a right to vote on the plan. Councilman Chris Smitherman led the effort that procured 19,000 signatures to get the measure on the November ballot. I know these are tough times for local government, but selling off assets is not a sustainable strategy. And frankly, privatizing just sucks. Ask Atlanta about their water system. The Green Umbrella Sustainability Summit will be held on May 3rd from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Join us to get your groove on with the folks who are greening up the natty. Admission is $20 for Green Umbrella members and $30 otherwise. Thanks for checking in this week. Now I'm checking out.